Hey, Ed here from FICMRepair. Repair. This comment comes to us from Minimus. Yeah, a lot of guys share this sentiment, right? That all batteries are made the same anyway. I can tell you there's really three common manufacturers, right? It's Johnson Controls, so the vast majority of batteries are made by Johnson Controls. Then there's East Penn Manufacturing, who makes Deca, and they have the largest facility of anyone, as far as I know, for battery manufacturing. Deca batteries are freaking amazing, and that's true in the lead acid space primarily. So Johnson Controls and Deca, or Johnson Controls and East Penn Manufacturing, are the most common batteries in the lead acid space, and those batteries are ridiculously common to each other. And what I mean by that, I suppose, is that they're both lead acid platforms. Now that said, there are standards that exist between batteries. So when you go to your local auto parts store and you get that 12-month battery, that 12-month battery is not made as well as that 36-month warranted battery, certainly. And so there are differences internally. Even though Johnson Controls might be a common manufacturer, there are absolutely differences in what your money is buying. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Now on the high roller side of the house, you've got Odyssey. Odyssey batteries are just insanely amazing. I mean, I got a pair of Odysseys in my Excursion. They're like 12 years old and they still test out equivalent to brand new. That's crazy. But they're a mortgage payment. And so you got to ask yourself, what's it worth to you, right? What do you want to be able to do? I mean, as you might have noticed, I'm not 17 anymore. Changing out batteries, these suckers are heavy, right? And I don't want to have to jack with it. And so as a result of that, it's kind of like, I can go ahead and I can buy the high dollar Odysseys and have fewer problems in life. I can buy the Decas and have fewer problems in life, or I can buy the Johnson Control batteries and have more problems in life. But, these are all generalizations, right? I mean, certainly it's the case that like a Napa Legend battery, for whatever reason, just seems to have more durability. But recognize there are differences between these batteries. They're really not all the same. And batteries last as a direct result of what's asked of them. Now, maybe, my Odysseys are at 12 years and going strong as a result of the fact that they're awesome batteries, because they're awesome batteries. Or maybe what's certainly helping the situation is I keep them on a tender like all the time. And in addition to that, I also have a crazy large alternator that's feeding these bad boys. So if you're running like a 240 amp, 270 amp, 320 amp, 370 amp, 400 amp alternator, I mean, obviously the depth of discharge on these bad boys isn't really all that material. So if we can limit depth of discharge, if we can leave something called state of charge at 100% the vast majority of the time, we're going to get a lot more service life out of our batteries than if we allow them to discharge and then stay discharged. The worst thing you can do to an automotive battery is allow it to die, and a close second is to leave it dead. So if you come out to your vehicle and you're like, oh man, it's time to go to work in the morning, but my batteries are dead, I'll just grab the other car. I tell you what, that's fine. But ideally, what you would do, you'd say, okay, yeah, my batteries are dead because I left the headlights on or whatever I did. Put them on a charger quick and just let them charge all day, rather than say, I'll get to it tomorrow. So the longer you leave them dead, the less likelihood there is an opportunity to reclaim them and get them to come back to life again. Not that anytime that you allow them to die, they're ever going to be as good as they used to be. And so just recognize that it's more than just the batteries, it's the environment that they're in. So the better the environment that you can have your batteries live in, the longer service life you're going to get out of them, even though there are differences in the quality and the durabilities of the batteries themselves. So I was talking to a customer just today, and he's like, hey, who makes the best battery option? And I'm like, Odyssey. And oh, by the way, X2 there's rumors that the X2 battery is made by Odyssey. And so it's like, okay, fine. So, in my experience, those two batteries are absolute top shelf. A second from those is any AGM battery. Any absorbed glass pipe battery is going to be better than a flooded wet cell battery is going to be, just from a durability and longevity perspective. But in the flooded wet cell battery camp, certainly East Penn's battery, the Deca batteries, are absolutely superior followed by the Johnson Control batteries. Now, within the Johnson Control family, you've got any number of manufacturers, and so you can look and say, okay, is a Johnson Control battery, a Johnson Control battery, a Johnson Control battery? No, because there's different specifications that a lot of these batteries are built to. Now, in some cases, you're 100% right. It's just the label on the battery, and who really cares? But in a lot of cases, there are definitely quality differences that exist across them. And you start looking at the manufactured by labels, and you start saying, yeah, those batteries did last me forever. And you look at it, it's like, oh yes, it's made by Deca. So like in my in my Kubota, for example, those are East Penn batteries, and it's like, holy crap, look at that, they're 10 years old, crazy. And then you look at those batteries, and it's like, oh yeah, I only got 3 years out of those. Well, those are Johnson Controls. Well, okay, fine. So just be aware of the fact that there are differences in batteries, and be aware of the fact that the more you can do to keep them at 100% state of charge and not let them sit for a long period of time in something other than 100% state of charge, the better off you're going to be. And as we enter the winter season, recognize, batteries that are nearish dead, they can freeze. And so just from a safety, this little PSA on safety, don't be hooking up your 100 amp wheel charger to a battery that's frozen. It's just not going to end well. You want to bring that thing back to life very slowly by putting, just a small charge into it, or bring it into a warm environment if at all possible. They call it CCA, cold cranking amps versus cranking amps, for a reason. So if you're stranded, say for example you're out at the cabin in northern Minnesota, and you go out to start your vehicle to get out of there, and you're like, click click click, right? You're like, oh goodness, and you don't have anything with you. You don't have a battery charger with you. You think there's no options, but you got a tool set with you. Hey, take those batteries out, bring them in the cabin, put them someplace warm, let them get nice and toasty, and put them back out in the truck, and I bet you your truck starts and you can get home. So just understand how the chemistry works, how the batteries actually function. You'll get more life. There is absolutely a difference across batteries, though, but even across them, there are some common rules that apply. So I hope this helps. FICMRepair.com. We're all in this together. Sorry for the ramble.